Hey guys, it's M. Now if you know me, I have a few favorite games. Doom Eternal, Fallout New Vegas, Bloodborne, and Transformers Devastation. Now, I know. One of these things isn't like the other, but I promise you, Transformers Devastation is one of the most fun, fast-paced games I've played in a while. Now, you might be wondering, why am I bringing up a 6-year-old game? But recently with YouTube and my normal content, I've been feeling just a little bit burnt out of making all of it. And I actually do have another video set up for you guys after this one will come out, but I wanted to do something a little bit different for my next video. So I was just playing Transformers just because, and I was trying to think of a video idea. I looked at the screen and thought of how Challenger Patches, fuck off, is always doing these crazy cracked out challenge ideas, and I'm just like, duh! Can you beat Transformers Devastation on Prime with a D-rank defective weapon? First rule, no ultimates until Chapter 5. I decided against using ultimates because since my character starting off this run is already going to be max level, if I just used ultimates, I could just go like, make an ultimate build and then just blow up everything in the whole game. Also, they're incredibly strong, so I thought it would be cheating. And the reason I'm saying until Chapter 5 is because this game gets very, very difficult in the later half on Prime. Like, I don't remember this game even getting this hard, so I think that's a fair trade. No healing. For this challenge, I put all in on SideSwipe so I can do a little bit more damage so I don't get stuck with that little tiny baby 20 damage the weapon does. And the trade for all in is having no healing, so that's just not a thing I'm going to be able to do. SideSwipe Only, D-rank defective for lightning fist weapons. I chose SideSwipe because 1, I like his design and I've played him the least, and 2, he has the most useless overdrive. I didn't want a really good advantage like being able to spam back hits as Bumblebee or just a grapple invincibility everywhere as Grimlock, so SideSwipe works as his overdrive doesn't really have a damage functionality. Also, you might be wondering, why are your weapons only Defect 4? A real gamer would have Defect 5. The thing is, I've been playing this game, like setting up for this challenge idea, and I have not once gotten a Defect 5 weapon. I don't know what it is. Defect 4 is the highest I got. If I get a Defect 5 weapon, I'll put Defect 5 on the fists. Just, I can't seem to get one. So, that's why it's like that. And if you're wondering why I chose the fists and not whatever the meta weapon probably is, it's just because the fists combos just look really cool. No items allowed, except auto revive. Like I said earlier, I have all in, so I can't heal, but I decided to go against using the hard coding or the power booster, just because it would make the run a lot easier, and due to me already being max level, I don't want any other ways of making this easier on myself. The only reason I'm allowing auto revive, it's just because auto revive, when you pick it up, there's no real way to just instantly get rid of it unless, you know, you die and use it. So I don't really want to have to kill myself to remember to get to a checkpoint and sell it every single time I get it, because I feel like I'm most likely gonna forget 1 or 2 times. So I don't think it can really be helped. Last rule, no damage focus guns. I mainly did this so I don't have to use a really bad D tier gun. Instead, I'll be using utility S tier guns, such as the grappling hook, confusion cannon, and loudspeakers. Someone may be wondering, why would you put in all these restrictions? Well, like I had mentioned earlier, my character is max, so my base damage is going to be a bit higher than if I was like level 0. Also, I have all the moves unlocked, so it only seemed fair that I shot myself in the knees intentionally with all these other limitations instead of just D-rank weapons. And if you think this is going to be really easy because I'm max level, let me show you something. This is Bumblebee on Prime. In this mission, you fight all the Autobots one after the other, but we'll be using him as a basic testing dummy, as dodging his attacks is pretty easy, and I wouldn't really consider him a threat normally. Now this is me fighting him with my normal loadout. It takes around 40 seconds to beat him with no car changing attacks or shooting him at all. Now this is me fighting him with our defective fist we'll be using for the run. Oh! Yeah, I'm not gonna have you sit here and watch the whole thing. Just know this took 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Compared to the 40 seconds it would take normally. If that is an example of how rough this is gonna be, I don't know what is. And also, just so everyone's aware, on Prime difficulty, you will die from 1 or 2 hits from a boss and about 5 from enemies. In any encounter you have with enemies in this game, it is usually a gank. And with no healing, this simply will not be an easy run. I'm not gonna lie, I do have some big fears before the run even starts, but I'll point them out when they happen. Now for future me, I'll let him take it away and let the video actually start. And just for him, good luck. Well, off the bat in the first section, I instantly had the feeling of, this won't be so bad. After seeing my okay at best damage numbers on the smaller enemies, I felt a small sense of comfort until... Easy game. Easy game. I did not die on the first level. No. Yep. I died on the first section of the game. This is gonna be a long run. Before we even get to another combat section, I die from a random laser thing in the environment. Oh yeah, there's no point to collect the loot. Like, I just remembered that I can't use them. Keep a note, me dying from the environment will be a normal trend in this run. So we end up getting the Devastator, who showed up even earlier than I remember, and was one of the fights I was really scared of, but on this first encounter, it actually wasn't so bad. I managed to beat him with no deaths, and I know this is the easiest version of this fight, but I'm happy it all worked out. It was just casual smooth sailing until my next stupid death all the way at Megatron's shield boss fight, because I accidentally skimmed the wall in a combo. Bounce him off again. So I beat Megatron on the second attempt, and we end up at the Constructicons. Now, I didn't really expect them to be a threat, and I guess I was right in thinking that, because I got out of all their encounters relatively fine with no deaths. The only annoying gimmick was the two bigger ones don't really flinch, and they have huge health bars, which means I had to wail on them for way longer while their buddies had a good chance of getting shots on me that could kill me. It's good I'm at least decent at the combat in this game, because it really does not seem like I'm decent at anything else. Hey, why am I so fast? Anyways, we reach the end of chapter 1 and we have to fight Devastator again. And it went okay. I end up dying one more time due to him shooting me. Yeah, it didn't. Why does he have a gun? When did he have a blaze? And I never even knew he had a gun. Then I died a second time because of him baiting me to miss 3 times in a row just to knock the taste out of my mouth a few seconds later. After that, we beat Devastator and close out chapter 1 with 7 deaths. Not horrible. If my luck with the environment was better in this game, it probably would have stopped at 5. So at the start of chapter 2, after defeating a few standard enemies and almost dying, we make it to a mine section, and I quickly realized that my guns can't destroy these mines. I waddled around for a bit aimlessly before discovering you can just stand near them and focus dodge to get them out of the way. This isn't great news, as there's a few parts where you're expected to shoot the mines out of the air, but you'll see that soon enough. 2 secret deaths later, my kryptonite apparently, we start breezing through the game until... This is so easy. What? Oh no. Now after a rough start, I surprisingly end up not dying to Sentry Bot. Since I couldn't use my gun a lot, and I can't really hit him with transformation attacks due to his height, I simply ended up jumping up high, punching him a few times, dodging a little laser that he'd shoot out every once in a while, punching him a few more times, repeat. Overall, not too bad. Right afterwards, I end up at the first Insecticon encounter. Now, the small ones aren't too big of an issue, but the bigger ones, they're kind of a problem. Their health bars were a bit chunkier than the small ones that made them just a tad harder to deal with, and we only end up suffering 1 death to them. But even this early, I feel like this marks an upcoming difficulty spike in this game, as the area after this is going to become extremely difficult. Now we enter the Proud Star and run into Soundwave. To be honest, the only thing I remembered about Soundwave before this run was that he pushed you away. Maybe it's the run, or maybe I'm just bad at fighting him in his little cassette tape zoo group, but I ended up suffering 3 deaths to him. For me, I just hope this isn't bad foreshadowing, as this is the easy version of his fight before you fight him later. After he leaves, I get a bit annoyed because I see a collectible that I can't reach because of all the doo-doo guns that I have. And we get to the next combat section. A very scary combat section. Oh no, this part's gonna suck. Normally this section is somewhat difficult due to the enemies that burst through the walls through the pillars around you in waves, but you would normally have your SS Prime modded drop weapons with you by now and you'd quickly move through this section. But seeing as I don't have that, this is a serious endurance test. The main issue is Insecticons in this game have a lot of range moves, which leads to you having to dodge a lot more in combos because no matter where you are, you're probably still in lightning range. And due to how many there are in this level, it's really scary having to try to commit to a combo. Along with all that, the floor in this section jitters because of story reasons, which becomes really annoying when you have to jump up to hit someone and the floor decides to push them out of the way or knocks you out of your combo. The worst part by far is if you die in this section, you have to start all 3 waves all over again. But surprisingly, after all the bitching I just did about it, I only ended up dying 1 time. So after that, I do some quick parkour and end up getting ganked by a few bugs and getting killed by this evil ass wall. Let me out.
let me out. Please. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate this little wall.
And we reach the turn section, which runs exactly the same no matter what the run is, so we're gonna skip over most of it. Except this one bug who decided to glitch through time and space.
Are you... what? Game? This is God?
So anyway, we keep moving and we get the shrapnel, we beat him, we get a trophy, and we move forwards. We stomp out Bombshell and somehow end up dying to a wall again. We then reach the Plasma Core, which is the end of Chapter 2, but before you destroy the Plasma Core, you have to fight Kickback and his other two homeboys again. Just like the first time, fighting all three of these chunky dudes with big old health bars was a problem. I did end up dying 2 times before eventually winning, but luckily, there is a checkpoint in the middle of this fight where Kickback has less health. After that, I end up making a new meta-defining strategy for destroying the Plasma Core by accident, and we close out Chapter 2. Chapter 3 starts with a bit of driving around until you run into Thundercracker. I thought he was actually going to be really difficult because you usually have to shoot stuff up at him or try to shoot him himself, but surprisingly he was quite easy. We drive around for a bit more until we run into a combat section with many heavy ground units, which in this run are extremely annoying. It may be even the hardest part of this run, as they take a lot of hits to kill, they're usually surrounded by other enemies, and their attacks have really weird dodge timing. We die once to this section, but we end up washing them later. But this leads into my least favorite section of the whole game.
Oh, this is gonna be very hard. Oh no.
The top-down section. This is one of the parts that I was the most afraid of, as it is the most irritating areas to fight in. We reach the roadblock and we need some energon to blow this roadblock up. And then my hell begins. You can't fight while holding this energon, and it barely damages enemies, so there's no point of using it as a weapon. I died twice to the ground units before I decided I would just beat them up and put down the energon somewhere else. After that easy little encounter, I get lied to by the game as they lead me into a false sense of security before deciding to absolutely ass blast me. It may say mission complete, but they lie to you. And the next section stays top down. Now, they spawn 3 heavies, followed by 4 more heavies if you walk too far. I'm gonna save us a lot of time, but just know, this section alone put the death counter for this chapter in double digits. And keep in mind, I only died 3 times before this. So after 30 minutes of brutal torture just to beat this one section, Starscream fights us after we blow up this roadblock, and I surprisingly beat him with no deaths with a little small slither of health from the last section. So I reached the end of the chapter and run into big old Blitzwing. I managed to snag a collectible in this part, and we easily beat the flying section as this part doesn't change from a regular run. We then get to Blitzwing's normal fight. I easily beat his first phase and begin destroying his second phase until overconfidence gets me destroyed in a 2-hit TOD.
Oh. He did not. He did not just clap back.
Second time through, we easily beat him, even faster than the first time we almost killed him, and we end up closing out Chapter 3. Now, as unfortunate as this may be, I think this video's length is pretty long, so I'm gonna end it here. Don't worry, when all the parts are done, I'm gonna mesh them all together into one big video that should probably end up being around 30-40 minutes, maybe? But, you know, that's it for now. If you're curious, these parts and the future parts are all going to be streamed here on YouTube, and the VODs are in my playlist section if you want to take a peek at the 2 hours of suffering I had to go through for chapters 1 to 3. And I've even recorded chapter 4 already. With that, I hope to see you in the comments. I hope you like and subscribe. I've been M, and I hope to see you later.